Today we are going to be doing our weekly, which I'm going to be doing every Friday, book club. This is the second week of the new book club that we're doing. And obviously this week we're following on from last week. We read The Legacy last week, and this week we're reading Blood Lost, which is the second book in the series of the Darkness Within saga. Mine was, I obviously listened to mine through audiobook because it's a bit easier than reading. So it was performed obviously by Simon. Is that Lance? Obviously, book was written by DJ. I think that's Franx. So, what do we think of this book? I really liked it. To start off with, you know, it was interesting. We kept with what we had. Obviously, we ended the last book with Kale escaping the dead sisters and that like prison cell, which the end of that book was awesome. You know, he came into his own, into his power. You saw him get a little bit corrupted. You know, we've seen the vampire woman, like, and we're going into the next book. You know, this whole book has been, I feel like, has been the chase of and the catch up to Kale, obviously. I mean, there's some good characters along the way, some very essential characters who know, like, things are going to happen to those characters. Like, you know, is it Cypher Locke, the wizard who can augment other people's powers? Obviously, he's going to be essential later on when they start fighting the, what are they called? The begin with R. But the elder, they're ancients, or whatever they call them. They do have an actual name that was foreshadowed at the beginning of the first book when Kale read the tablets in the last Dark Wizard Woman's place. And as I said in the last book, when we did the last book review, that I didn't think that she was evil, the last dark, you know, the last big dark wizard who'd made all the big towers and split the earth. And by the looks of it, she wasn't. By the looks of it, she was trying to either slow down or lock off the world from the old ancients' place, so then they couldn't be resurrected into the world, or they couldn't get into. If they got brought back, that was like a second defense, so then they couldn't get to their magic and power, and she was trying to lock it off even further. And obviously nobody realized that, and they just killed her because they was like, oh, she's summoning demons and she's crazy, kill her. But yeah, it was pretty interesting. Hi Dan. But yeah, like, I thought that was really interesting in the book. There were quite a few things actually that I thought were really good and intricate in the book. I reckon it's a lot better than the first book. It led on better. The start was better. I could get into it more quicker, and it flowed really nice. The only thing I didn't like was the transformation from what was her name? Is it Kaylee? The woman who we left the Dark Sisters with. I can't remember her name. But I'm really bad at that. But I didn't like I'm just gonna get up their character list. What? Lost. You know what I really love? When you type something in Google and you get, now Google is like ad central, and it's so annoying. You know, I really love as well when you just want things and you can't find these things. I'm gonna have to start writing all like character names down because there's a lot of characters and change of names of characters, and stuff like that. So it's kind of annoying. But yeah, so obviously at the beginning of the book, he's raging through the wildlands. Yeah, he's traipsing through the is it wildlands? Yeah, the wildlands. And obviously he's with Kayla. I can't remember. I think it's Kayla. And you know he's going through there, and it made me laugh that the wildlands tribes feared him. And obviously he's coming into his own power, and he's learning how to shadow steps, which is like just instant teleport. And his 2 weapons, as I said, there's something up with his 2 weapons. I think they're either helping him use his powers through instinct, or they're like conduits. He's able to use them and channel his power through them, which wouldn't surprise me. I thought it was really cool when he summoned, like, as he's traipsed through wildlands and that. You could see Kayla, whatever her name was, like slightly evil, and she was getting more evil as time was going on, and like she was, you know, trying to turn Kale a little bit, but she was like, no, it's your choice. But then obviously later on she reveals herself to be an evil sister. I didn't like that personally, because I thought, oh, you know, Kale's got somebody there with her, and she came in as like 18-year-old girl as just a healer. So I like, she was going through all this stuff, and then she was like, I wasn't supposed to reveal myself for years yet, and it was just like, what is this? Don't worry, Dan, it's fun. But yeah, it was like, what is this magic? Like, and this woman, like, it's pretty cool the way they also explained why Kale couldn't resist her, the way she was using seductive magic. So, you know, they had a little pokey, a little bit of sexy time. But I also think Kale might be infertile, maybe because of his death magic, or when he uses it, he becomes infertile for a certain period of time, because a young virulent male who hadn't obviously had sexy time in months then splooges himself inside of a woman who probably has made sure that she's on that fertility grind, let's be honest. Doesn't get her pregnant. It's like, is that really a thing? I don't know. And obviously, you know, they do it a couple times. Moves on with the book, finds out that she's trying to get pregnant, so then they can have their own death wizard. Not called the witchy woman. I'm really bad with names. I need to start writing all this down. Like, it's stupid how bad I am with names. Drinking my G Fuel. Yes, boys. Banana and strawberry G Fuel is the business. That and bubblegum. Bubblegum is really good as well. But yeah, so I liked that part of the book. And obviously after they exit the wildlands, like, they go through the wildlands and they almost see Ember as well, and they see Gideon, and Gideon lies straight away to Kel, and he's like, oh, Ember's dead, so is Max. And then so does Celise. And also Kel sees something in Celise, and he says, you're not quite human. I 100% guarantee she's Dragonborn or Dragonkin or something along those lines. She's obviously not human, but she's not Fae, obviously, but she's some sort of Dragonkin, I believe, anyway. So, you know, they fly through there. They didn't really get a lot of hassle. The only hassle they had was after. It was after then. Then they went to obviously the big city, and that's where you met Cypher Lark, who is obviously the mage who could have become an archmage. Let's be honest, he probably could have on his apprentice. And then you also meet the necromancers, who are sick. I think they have really good characters. The two necromancers, the way they're like, they they took a stand back from everything in the world. You know what I mean? They took a stand back and they're just like, yeah, let's talk about we know these prophecies and this is what we think of them, which I kind of like. I kind of like that. I kind of like the way that they were like opposed to Gideon. They were like, Gideon knows the prophecy but doesn't know all the prophecy. It's the same as the elven assassin lady, Lisa or something. I keep calling her Lisa, but her name's definitely not Lisa. It's like Lisil or something. I don't understand her as well, because she's got some kick-ass magic, but I never see her use it. My hand looks really dirty because of that light. It's really not. I do apologize. Really not dirty. Like this isn't dirt. This is calluses. Ugh, don't like it. But yeah, I liked Cypher Lock. I think he's a really cool character. I like the way he's detached from the university, and obviously, as I said, there's something in history has gone on with the Death Wizards. Somebody's twisted the history to make them like evil, which is probably Cypher Axe, whatever it's called. And obviously, this is when you go forward, and then you meet the pirates, who have played a big part in the book at the moment, but I don't know how much of a big part they're gonna play later. And like the Crazy Alchemist is great. I love the Crazy Alchemist. In the he's a Crazy Irishman, which I'm a big fan of. Always fan of a Crazy Irishman. In the books, he's like the guy's like he builds like dynamite and like it's great. And then yeah, obviously the pirate has a daughter, and Kel gets the daughter back from the slavers before they kill her, and then they take the slavers and charge them. And I'm glad that guy dies, but then you find out later on he was fighting for the good of the world. And it's like, so he was a scumbag / good guy, but he's still a scumbag because he was abducting young women. Yeah, and his son seems... Everybody said his son was an animal, but from what I listened to in the book, his son wasn't as bad as the father, but we don't know because we only saw his good side. We didn't see what he was like in the sea. We didn't see what he was like before he left on his like quest with that woman, which is interesting. We saw so much. The book was like the book is the big book. Don't get me wrong. So that's why we've seen so much of the stuff, and there's so much to talk about, which is really good. If we get like a short book and it's a bit yeah, as much. So we've got like a bare bone understanding. You know, we're gonna keep going through the story. So Kel, obviously, he does the whole thing, the gamble with Kia and stuff like that in the prison cell, and she gets out and she's fine. And we all know she's gonna be fine because that's the way the stories are written. And then obviously the matey gets killed. Well, he gets tortured first of all, then he gets killed by an assassin. And I think the assassins, like, they're starting to play a big part in the story. But at the same time, I'm just like, hey, I know you're an Assassin's Guild, but I either want something focused on the Assassin's Guild or something focused on something else. It's a big bit of give and take. And in this book in particular, it didn't seem. Somebody keeps coming out the door behind me. It's so distracting. I'm looking at myself on the computer screen. It's so like. I'm actually gonna line this quick because. I'm going to continue looking at my screen. It's for me, I like it that there's separate parts of the book. You know, we've got, but at the moment we've got pirates, we've got mages, we've got a city. They're just randomly invested in this one city. They've got obviously Kale, We've got the Dragonkin. We've got so much of the world, and it's focusing on all little bits here, little bits here, little bits here, little bits here, little bits here. Like right at the end, we've got the dwarves come in. We've got, you know, we've got the Fae come back from probably a different dimension. Like, we got all this stuff happening, and I'm looking at it and I'm just thinking, whoa, this needs to come together fast, or it's gonna be fudged up. Obviously, you know, right at the end of the book, we learn who the main enemies are, which is the Riotek. And there's a Viscount of the Riotek? Is it Viscount? Or something with a V anyway. But I wasn't really that concerned about the Riotek. And I knew something was going to happen out of them, because they wouldn't have just placed that in there just willy-nilly, if you know what I mean. So that's in there, obviously. Celise, is it Celise? Celise, who Gideon's daughter is, she's going to be a descendant of the White Dragon. 100%. That's the last Behemoth thing. Ember's got all of her powers, which is really cool. I kind of like Ember's powers because they're not like unlimited, and they have like consequences. Like if she heals somebody, she takes a bit of her life essence and puts it into them. If she overdoes it, she kills herself, which she almost does, obviously. And then they have to use a special potion on her, and this, that, and the other, which is kind of convenient. There was a few convenient moments in this one, which I didn't hugely like. Like obviously with the necromancers, and they were following Kale, and they were so happened to get a hotel room next to him. I think it would have been better if they got a hotel next to him on purpose to keep an eye on him. And they said that in the book, but not to Kale's face, obviously. And obviously, right at the end of the book, Kale dies, but I don't believe for a second he's going to die. Not for a second. Man's coming back to life. I wouldn't say start of the next book. I would say about a quarter of the way through, something's going to happen, you know. Maybe Ember goes off, and with Lysil, and Max goes off with them, and they're all off somewhere. And he comes back to life, and he gets a memory of. I think that this book will, like this series will be always, Kel and Ember will never be together. They'll always be apart. Just because, like, when they do get together, it's gonna be that final conflict. There could be just, to be fair, it could be just three book part series. I know there are 5 books. But if this is only a 3-book series and then moving on to a next stage of like a next age, so it could be this next book is going to be them meeting up like halfway through the book. But I don't think they'll meet up at the beginning of the book. I think Kale will stay dead for a while, and then he'll gain like a super power up buff, and it will be Kale versus that woman, and Ember will back him up somehow, and then Cypher Wizard Man will amplify Kale's magic to make him more powerful than that woman, and she'll probably get some bullshit boost where they become level pegging, and then he will win out overall, or something like that. Something like that will probably happen in the next book. That's my prediction, because that's normally the way books goes. Don't get me wrong, I would love to see Kale just stay dead. But he's the main character in the book. That's not happening. Also with Max, something's wrong with Max, obviously. Like who was it said that there's something different about Max? Was it? It was the necromancer, right? The woman necromancer, the queen of Modeg. She said that the Max was of this world, so he is actually of that world, and I knew that was going to happen. As soon as he went on that world, obviously he's been stabbed at the moment. Right at the end of the book, you don't really know what's going to happen to him. Ember will probably just heal him, or Lysana will. One of them will. It'll be fine. And obviously, at the end of the book, we saw the Fae Queen come back, and we knew that Ember was part of the Fae Queen, or Fae Queen's thing, and she's obviously in league with the dragons, and they're all got a thing with this prophecy, and they're all getting all the stuff together to make it work properly, which is cool. I kind of like, but why didn't they just include the mages and the humans in this, and then Gideon wouldn't have fucked it up? Instead of chasing Cal to the ends of the, instead of chasing Cal to kill him, he might have chased him, caught him, and said, "Yo, we're gonna need to have you come with us. We're not gonna kill you. We're not gonna hurt you or anything. We know you're sane and you're fine. But you need to come with us because there's some nasty people after you." Sorry. I had a big dinner. It's not sitting well. So yeah, I feel like they replaced. I feel like the author. Like, this is jumping around a little bit, but I feel like the author replaced Kaylee with that new little kid. Who's like 12. They sort of replaced her with the little kid because they wanted her out of the way. So then they want to slot Ember in at the next book with Kale, and not have the conflict there with two women. And I feel like it was a convenient excuse to have her be a dead sister, and then have this whole conflict go on, obviously. And the little girl as well, she's elven or something. There's something special about her. She's not fucking a normal kid, obviously. But yeah, obviously the dead sisters there, they all got destroyed by Kel, which I wish there was more detail on that scene, because that was badass. Like he went proper beast mode on them and then just ripped them all to pieces, which is crazy. But yeah, like I feel like that was a convenient excuse for them to do that. I mean, they could have, like, instead they could have just killed her off and still. But yeah, I didn't like her. I like her storyline, but at the same time, I don't like the way. I feel like the author has gone, I don't want her as a love interest anymore. Let's just flip her character 180. That's what I feel like anyway. Because if she can do that, how do we know there's not a dead sister in every single city waiting? Yo. So yeah. And obviously, like, I hate the way that Gideon and that, like, they just trusted her straight away. Like, oh yeah, you're a priestess. Of course you are. But then Max and Lisa and Ember didn't trust her. But no motherfudger has really brought that, like, thing conclusion. Like Lisa, she was like, oh yeah, what happened up there? She knows exactly what's happened up there. She knows exactly who's done it. But she won't bring that to the forefront and just be like, yo, she's a dead sister. Or she's lying. Not calling her out, and it's like, oh, come on. You're literally an age-old assassin. Like, do it. Dwarves coming back wasn't really the biggest thing that I cared about at the end. I mean, it was cool the way you saw them, like, they broke down the mountain, they buggered off back to the holes. But dwarves, they didn't do anything cool. And the Fae teleported, and, you know, did some normal stuff. You know, Fae stuff, but yeah. Yeah, I feel like they've replaced Kaylee with the little kid, and I believe I feel like they used the little kid to make it more like father-daughter relationship. Kale, give him something there to hold on to as well, opposed to a person who is a love interest, which I feel like the author flirted with that idea, didn't like it, and sacked it off. But then just didn't want to rewrite the last book and a half, and was like, you know what? Let's just turn this one around quick. But yeah. Okay, Orange. Orange. Where did you copy and paste that from? Bruh. Why did my stream just disconnect? I need to know this. I think I've done something to my computer. I don't have a torch. Sorry. 1 second. Oh, fixed it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I fixed it. Right. So, apologies to people watching on YouTube. I'm pretty sure my stream disconnected. I don't know what I've missed and what I haven't missed. But Orange just said in my chat, it was written in a way to perspective. The first book was good and followed a cohesive story. No, it didn't. But this one was way too disjointed and dragged on, with the only goal seeming to be to aggravate the reader by coming really close to doing the right thing but never actually doing it. How can somebody say that? In all honesty, how can somebody say that? Kel freed slaves. He helped a girl go free of slavers. He also helped the save the city from pirates. So he did the right thing several times. So whoever writ that review, actually a fucking idiot. In all honesty, what? I've got a baby next to me. What are you doing? What are you doing? Hey? What are you doing? Hey, can you come get Storm? Yes, come on. Also, this boy needs a change. Put chocolate all over himself. Go, mummy. Put chocolate all over himself. Must have had a chocky biscuit. Can you make sure you change him, please? He needs a face wipe as well. But yeah, so he actually did. He definitely did do a lot of things and do a lot of things right. I feel like going from that, they're speaking on Gideon's term. Like, Gideon sort of didn't do anything right, but did things in the book. Like, he was like, oh, we will talk to Kel. My hand's just not dirty. It's carrying my hands look filthy. Makes my hand look dirty as hell. It's the shadows, must be. But yeah, Gideon very much would. You'd look at him and you'd be like, okay, so what are you doing? And then he'd be like, yeah, we're not gonna fight Cal. We're just gonna talk to him. Then he took fucking. Took Crazy Woman with him when she doesn't know her from Jack. If I'm honest, like, Gideon's a very narrow, like, fucking idiot character. He apparently isn't an archmage. He's not very fucking as an archmage, I'll tell you that much. So he took her, he took himself, he took Kasich, which I like Kasich. You know, Kasich is changed into a really likable character, and you know, he says, oh, I owe you Ember because you saved my life. That was a really cool thing the way she did that, but at the same time, it was very much a cop out with the way they saved her. The way the mate was like, okay, so we've got these necromancers, right? We've got these necromancers with special potions. And about these special potions, those two potions are the only two things to save the two main characters. Did your streamcast? Yeah, it did, Orange. Plot armor, maybe? But yeah, so I'm going to rate this book. What do I think of this book? I thought this book was very good. I thought this book was actually better than the first, personally. I liked the character progression. I like to see more of the magic in the world. And I like the way everything's coming in now. Everything's coming to a conclusion. Everything's set up perfectly for the next book. Like, Kel's dead. You know he's coming back to life. But how? How is he coming back to life? Faye can't heal him. So it's going to be some dark magic bringing him back. It's going to be something from the where Ember has teleported them. The king, he's getting his daughter. Is he getting his daughter back? I can't. But something happened at the end. You know, the king's going to war. Like, there are so many stories and side stories and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. But I would rate this book 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, 7.5 out of 10 is decent. I wouldn't rate this a 10. There are too many plot holes that I could destroy in this book. Along with everything seems to be falling into place a little bit, and like the fight, some of the fights, I'm a bit like, what? What? Yeah, so 7.5 out of 10. It was a good book. So next week we'll probably do. Should we do book 3 of this, or should we give this book a rest for a week? Series a rest for the week. I don't have my phone on me. Oh, I can smell you. Trying to grab some books. If you have any books they think I would like to read, make sure you put them in the comments if you're on YouTube, and if you're on Twitch, put them in the chat. This actually book looks sick. The Shadow of the Gods. A Waterstone gives it a 5. Good Read gives it a 4.4. It is a Norse book. Norse book set in a world where gods battled and killed themselves some 100 years ago. Here we go. Borrow packs of myth, magic, blood vengeance, shadow of gods. Begin a new epic fantasy best-selling. Blah blah blah. After the gods warred and drove themselves into extinction, the cataclysms fall into the shadow of the lands. Now the new world is rising, where power-hungry yards feud and monsters stalk the woods, mountains, and the world's bones of the dead gods still hold great power. Those brave and desperate enough to seek them out. Ooh. Maybe. I thought this would be a really good book, but like I haven't got enough description here to say yes it's going to be or not. Let's read this one next book, next week. Hardback, 496 pages. Woo. Yeah, the Shadow of the Gods. It's the Blood-Sworn Saga by Jonathan Gwynne, I think that says. Jonathan Gwynne. Huh. He wrote 1 series, 2 series. 3. This is his 3rd. Wow. That's good though. That was 4.4. It's got to be pretty good. So. Oh, it's got wicked dogs. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. That's the one we're going to thingy next time.